चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथं मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रहं सकलगुणोपेतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिहंसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सद्ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभांसुदेव प्रणमामि हरि प्रिय वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं कृपातमहं श्री गुरुदेवतारं परमानन्दमानं श्री चैतन्येश्वरं। So 4839 Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 Chapter 839 Maitreya Uvacha Iti Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan Naradastada Pritaha Pratyahatam Balam Sadvakyam Anukampaya Iti Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan Naradastada Prita Pratyahatam Balam Sadvakyam Anukampaya Iti Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan Naradastada Prita Pratyahatam Balam Sadvakyam Anukampaya. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan Prita Pratyahatam Balam
Sadvakyam Anukampaya
Sadvakyam Anukampaya.
Maitreya Uvacha
Iti
Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan
Naradastada
Pritah Pratyahatam Balam
Prita Pratyahatam Balam
Sadvakyam Anukampaya
Sadvakyam Anukampaya.
Maitreya Uvacha Udahritam
Akarnya Bhagavan Naradastada Prita Pratyahatam Balam Sadvakyam Anukampaya. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan Naradastada Prita Pratyahatam Balam Sadvakyam Anukampaya. Mataji. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Udahritam Akarnya Bhagavan Naradastada Pritaprahyatam Sadvakyam Anukampaya Maitreya Vacha.
Maitreya Vacha.
The great sage, the sage Maitreya continued.
The sage Maitreya continued.
Iti, thus,
Thus,
Udahritam,
Udahritam,
being spoken,
being spoken,
Akarnya,
Akarnya,
hearing,
hearing,
Bhagavan Narada,
Bhagavan Narada,
the great personality Narada,
the great personality Narada,
Tada,
Tada,
thereupon,
thereupon,
Pritaha,
Pritaha,
being pleased,
being
Pratyaha,
Pratyaha,
replied,
replied,
Tam,
Tam,
him,
him,
Balam,
Balam,
the boy,
the boy,
Sat Vakyam,
Sat Vakyam,
good advice,
good advice,
Anukampaya,
Anukampaya,
being compassionate.
being compassionate.
The sage Maitreya continued, the great personality Narad Muni, upon hearing the words of Dhruva Maharaj, became very compassionate toward him. And in order to show him his causeless mercy, he gave him the following expert advice. Purport Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Since the great sage Narada is the foremost spiritual master, naturally his only activity is to bestow the greatest benefit upon whomever he meets. Dhruva Maharaj, however, was a child, and so his demand was also that of a playful child. Still, the great sage became compassionate toward him, and for his welfare he spoke the following verses. Again, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritamena Tasmai Gurave Namaha. So, today is a very special day actually, extremely special. Because today is a day which is midway between Narottam Das Thakur's appearance and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's disappearance. So it's a very special day. So actually these great souls, they came to this world, including our spiritual master. They are in this world simply to propagate pure devotional mood. So that's why one of the best things I heard from His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj when I first came to ISKCON was that the best people to whom the people who actually love you, he used this word, the people who actually love you, who actually have affection for you, is only pure devotees. Only pure devotees have the ability to love someone. And I'm not in that category. So not I'm far from being a devotee. So one's attachment, according to where he reposes that attachment, accordingly he gets the result. Actually, I have no power. On Nityananda we were singing that bhajan, that no amount of wealth, no amount of learning, no amount of expertise, no amount of beauty, nothing can actually please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing. And nothing can actually give rise to the birth of bhakti in the heart. Bhakti cannot be attained simply by anything external, but it can only be attained by the mercy of great souls. Bhakti, Srila Prabhupada says, Bhakti is a property of Paramahamsas. Who is a Paramahamsa? Paramahamsa means someone who is not from this world. Someone who is not from this world, whose consciousness is always in the spiritual world. That is Paramahamsa. sorry, Kunti Maharani, Kunti Devi saying, Tata Paramahamsana Muninam Amalatmana, Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartha. That, oh my Krishna, you are only available to the Paramahamsas. And how do they connect? How do they constantly give Krishna pleasure? Is by bhakti. Bhakti is very exalted path. And yesterday I was hearing a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was saying that how bhakti can only be performed on the liberated platform. But Prabhupada said, if we still come to bhakti when we are impure, if we are very serious, then Krishna helps. So actually the ability to be serious also is given by Krishna. Everything is given by Krishna. And more importantly, as Chris Bhavadacharya Prabhu mentioned, that Krishna's real mercy comes through his pure devotee. So one who recognizes this fact always prays for increasing his love, increasing his attachment, increasing his service attitude towards the pure devotee. Only by serving the pure devotee and by surrendering to the pure devotee does one have the ability to awaken in his heart the eagerness, the intense eagerness to actually go back to the spiritual world. Because that eagerness to go back to the spiritual world is the attitude of intense seva, the desire to please, desire to give pleasure. That feeling is actually the property of Srimati Radharani. So only her associate can give you that seva vritti, that desire to serve, that intense desire to serve can only be given by her. And her means her intimate associate. Like we sing in Guru Ashtakam, that how the spiritual master is an eternal associate of Srimati Radharani. So we may not be able to realize that, but we should desire to realize that one day. Should desire to realize. Because only when we realize that, only when we have to some extent realize that, then only we can actually serve. Because service starts actually, real service starts after surrender. That's real service that gives pleasure to Krishna. And what is surrender? Prabhupada writes very beautifully. Surrender means the consequence of realizing the youthful beauty of Krishna. When we can realize something about Krishna, how attractive, how merciful Krishna is, then surrender becomes a consequence. So, although surrender may start in a forced way, but surrender has to mature towards the spontaneous platform. So, surrender starts towards by developing our love and affection towards a pure devotee. And what does it mean to develop our love and affection towards a pure devotee? It means to appreciate his qualities, appreciate his service attitude, appreciate his sacrifice, appreciate his mood. That's what it means. Like I was just hearing that song on Nityantradashi, that where in that song written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that Mahaprabhu, in that song is saying, Mahaprabhu is saying that whoever takes shelter of Nitai, he will attain all perfection. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying in that song written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then at the end of that song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying that without, except for Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, I have no other shelter. I have absolutely no other shelter in this world. So, by hearing these songs of the pure devotees, and by their mercy, if we can become attracted to um, their mood, then our bhakti starts. Because bhakti can only be transported from one heart to another heart, from the heart of a pure devotee to the heart of conditioned soul. It is a transfer. It is not like something like you don't catch it in the air. It is a transfer. And the ability to receive devotional feeling is humility. Humility is the fertile ground upon which we can receive this intense desire to please Krishna. So Krishna says it's very simple in Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya. So first um, we have to surrender, and we have to render service, and then only can we ask question. Asking question is also very important according to how much eagerness we have. To that extent we'll ask question, and to the extent that that question is actually genuine, to that extent we'll get revelation also, and to the extent that we get revelation, accordingly we will develop prayerful mood, because prayerful mood is the substance of bhakti. What is our prayer? What is our desire? That Krishna is constantly seeing. Yes, um, until um, Pritirna Yavan Mahi Vasudevi, until we have developed love for the Supreme Lord, um, karma, the tendency to perform fruitive activity will remain. That's for sure. But if by the mercy of pure devotees, by being attached to them, by being attached to their mood, if we develop this prayerful mood for pure devotion, for pure devotion, for pure devotion, then on their mercy we can live our spiritual life until mercy comes. Until mercy comes. So pure devotees will give us service, pure devotees will give us encouragement, so on and so forth, until we get that mercy to actually perform Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Because to perform Tivrena Bhakti Yogena is actually the mercy of pure devotees. It's not possible to fake that Tivrena Bhakti Yogena from within the heart. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena means, just like the example is of um, Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, from Advaita Acharya and Haridas Thakur, he got this intense desire to meet Lord Chaitanya. And then, as soon as he met Lord Chaitanya, immediately he got this intense desire that he want to leave everything. He just want to surrender everything to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this was constantly, um, you can say, constantly reeling in his mind that I have to go, I have to go, I have to go at any cost. When can I go? When can I go? When can I go? So this is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. When one has an intense desire to make progress, and one acts with that intense desire to make progress. I don't have that, but hopefully by all of you, your blessings, one day I will get that intense desire. So that intense desire to make progress is the only solution to all problems. So either someone has greed or someone has greed for greed. We don't have greed if we don't have divine greed, which comes from some experience. then at least we can have greed for greed, which means we can have intense desire to get that intense desire. And we can see the behavior or the mood of great souls and how they got this. So, this essence of this verse is actually Narada, who is actually a pure devotee. Narad Muni, he is actually playing with Dhruva Maharaj's attachment. Dhruva Maharaj is attached to Narad Muni now. So he will do whatever Narad says. Because why? Because he wants darshan. He wants atha darshanam, face to face darshan with the Supreme Lord. So Narad Muni is using that attachment. So when we develop attachment to pure devotees will use that attachment to make us do whatever is required to get the mercy of the Lord. So that attachment to a pure devotee is the only thing which will actually give us that determination to cross over all the obstacles, which is ultimately caused by the desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. So as we act more and more and more under the guidance of a pure devotee, then by the pure devotee's power, by his mercy, we can get rid of the desire to act, desire, we can become free from the desire to desire anya bilashita, which means things which are anything apart from pure devotional service, we won't desire by the mercy of a pure devotee. So we have to contact a pure devotee more and more and more in our daily life uh, and more deeply because pure devotee is actually the mood, the instructions. It's not the physical body. The physical body of a pure devotee, just like Krishna, Krishna's form in the temple is made of marble. So what makes the marble Krishna is actually Krishna's Krishna's different Shaktis. So when the pure devotee, he actually invites Krishna into the marble, then that marble actually is not different from Krishna. So in the same way, the body of a pure devotee, although Prabhupada says that a body of a pure devotee is completely pure, and that's why we don't burn the body of a pure devotee. But at the same time, that body, the purpose of that body is used to actually give us the mercy, to give us the instructions, to give us the inspiration, to give us the mood, so that we can relate, so that we can, because um, like for example, Prabhupada says that if Krishna comes in his real form, even though Krishna may come, we may not have the eyes to see him. Because to see Krishna, it requires completely purified senses to see Krishna. So anyhow, so this attachment that Dhruva has to Narad, Narad is using that attachment to give him the process so that he can attain the ultimate benefit. And later it's also said in Bhagavatam that the main reason, that many reasons why um, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu gave darshan to Dhruva Maharaj, but the principal reason is because Narad gave him the benediction. So this is very important. Anukulyana Krishnanushilanam. So Anushilanam is most important in bhakti. Following the footsteps is most important. Is the most important thing. So to achieve success in bhakti means to follow in the footsteps of someone who has achieved success. To follow those instructions. That's why, yes, we can offer praise to the Lord, composed in our own, any language, any mood. But if we want uh, the same kind of mercy, the same kind of attachment that pure devotees developed, then in the conditioned stage, Prabhupada says, it is better to repeat the prayers offered by pure devotees. Because when Krishna hears anything spoken by his pure devotees, Krishna becomes very merciful. And when Krishna's mercy potency takes over, then naturally Krishna gives us so much experience, so much enthusiasm. And when we receive something from Krishna, some experience from Krishna, then naturally we become very enthusiastic. So yeah, this verse is highlighting that how sadhu's compassion is the most important thing in bhakti. Yesterday I was listening to a lecture, I was saying that how bhakti is the property of Paramahamsa. So everything in spiritual life depends upon how much sadhu, how much guru are pleased or displeased with us. Everything depends upon their disposition of mind. That's how subtle, that's how powerful is the disposition of a pure devotee. So it's very, very powerful, very, very powerful. And so their compassion, their mercy is everything. So more and more we realize that everything in spiritual life depends on the causeless mercy of Sadhu Guru. Sadhu Guru does not mean only Diksha Guru, but it means Shiksha Guru and all other gurus also. So everything depends upon how much praise they are towards us. And of course, that extends towards devotees also, all devotees. So Sadhu has so much to give us. Sadhu has so much mercy to give us, but we have to work towards the qualification. Like Prabhupada, this is famous pastime of Srila Prabhupada, that one very cultured husband and wife, they approached Srila Prabhupada after a lecture and they said, Sadhu, Guru, we need your mercy. Prabhupada said, no, you don't want my mercy. That Chandramani Maharaj quoted this to me here in the temple room, so I remember. So Prabhupada said, no, you don't want my mercy. Then that person said, no, no, we want your mercy. Prabhupada said, no, you don't want my mercy. And third time they said, no, we want your mercy. Prabhupada says, no, you don't want my mercy. And then when they asked, Prabhupada said, yes. So you have to become like these American devotees. You have to shave your head. You have to, as soon as Prabhupada said that, they disappeared in the crowd. So we have to develop some qualification to get the mercy of a pure devotee. And the qualification is to strive to follow their instructions. Yes, we may get the opportunity to serve a pure devotee, we get the opportunity to hear something of pure devotee. But the real test of how much we want their mercy is determined by how we perform, how we follow the instructions. Because I'm speaking about myself, I can pretend to be very sincere, I can pretend to be very enthusiastic in the presence of a pure devotee. Why? Because pure devotee has that spiritual power to do that. But my real color, my real nature will be shown on a day-to-day basis. And so that's why Prabhupada has appointed this authority system to, in every temple, the temple president and the senior devotees, to actually observe that how much is our enthusiasm to get mercy. Of course, from the management perspective, also it's there, but more than the management aspect, it's about getting mercy. It's not about the externals. It's not about getting this permission or doing this service or that service. That's also there, which is important. But more intrinsic or more deeper is getting the qualification to receive mercy. So when Krishna sees that we're constantly striving to please our authorities, please our gurus, please the senior devotees every day, then after a particular period of time, Krishna decides or guru decides, pure devotees decide that yes, this person deserves this mercy. And what is that mercy? That mercy is intense greed, laulyam, intense greed uh, to get the mercy of Krishna, that intense enthusiasm. So that is the goal. That is the goal. Because once we have that in our heart, mm, then our progress becomes, even whether our progress is fast or slow according to our understanding, but we will relish the process. We will relish Krishna consciousness. We look forward to everything in Krishna consciousness. We look forward to paying obeisances. We look forward to offering prayers. We look forward to taking darshan. We look forward to chanting the holy. We look forward to reading Bhagavatam. We look forward to everything. Why? Because now that intense desire is there. So when someone has intense desire to attain the lotus feet of Krishna, to attain Vrindavan, then everything becomes significant. Everything becomes significant. Just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everything was significant to him. Everything, every single thing was significant to him. Even to the extent that when one elderly lady, she was so eager to see Lord Jagannath. So in that extreme eagerness, she just uh, put her foot on the shoulder of Lord Chaitanya to take darshan. And Mahaprabhu really appreciated that. That wow, what I wish that I could be as eager to serve Jagannath as her. So this intense eagerness is the only solution to all problems and is the only way that we can make quick progress in bhakti. So Narottam Das Thakur's appearance happened few days ago. So how much eager was Narottam Das Thakur? So much eager he was that as soon as he heard the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, that's why the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have a special power, very special power, even more than the pastimes of Krishna, because the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are imbued with this laulyam, with this intense greed. It's everywhere in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everywhere it is there. So whoever receives the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya with a simple heart, they receive this laulyam, this intense desire that no, I need to achieve at any cost. At any cost, I need to achieve it. So Narottam Das Thakur, he got this intense greed that no, I have to go to Vrindavan. I have to go to Vrindavan. And that same greed actually mm, gave him the shelter of Lokanath Goswami, because Lokanath Goswami was an intense Vairagi. He was super renounced. He was living in Vrindavan, barely eating, barely sleeping. He was hanging his deities on a tree and just doing parikrama, chanting and meditating, etc., etc. He had absolutely no concern for this world. And he was dead against giving diksha to anyone. And actually, what happened? Narottam Das Thakur became so eager that not only was he serving, like the intelligence to serve Lokanath Goswami in that way was also given to Narottam Das Thakur because of his intense greed. And the way he would serve, he mm, would always follow Lokanath Goswami. Of course, at a safe distance, he would follow and he would express his intense eagerness. He would pray, he would cry, and his tears would wet Vraj. And actually, eventually, what happened is that, mm, according to great devotees, we have many Vaishnava scriptures speaking about the pastimes of the Lord. So actually, Srimati Radharani um, herself actually appeared to uh, Lokanath Goswami and said that why you're so hard-hearted, why you're so hard-hearted. So that means that if someone receives this intense greed, then there is absolutely no obstacle possible. So to collect this intense greed, Prabhupada says that if it is available anywhere, this intense eagerness to serve the lotus feet of Krishna, then immediately purchase it, immediately purchase. How can we purchase it? By hearing, by pleasing a great devotee of the Lord, by pleasing our authorities on a regular basis. Then Krishna become convinced. Because ultimately, externally, what we achieve or we don't achieve is ultimately, that is, yes, of course, that is important for the society, whatever we do for the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. But ultimately, as far as we are concerned, quality is important. Quality of devotion is important. So that should be the only meditation of every devotee in this movement. That how can I attain love of God? How can I attain my eternal form? How can I realize my spiritual identity? That how can I actually realize that I am not this body, but I'm spirit soul. Actually live on that platform. When the day will come and I will live on that platform. So we see like our previous acharyas, how much determined, how nice training they got, how much nice training they got. So the essence of this verse is to surrender the lotus feet of a pure devotee, surrender to our authorities, and constantly pray for mercy in our heart, that we can become a pure devotee, we can progress towards ruchi, asakti, bhava, and ultimately prema. So Prabhupada says one should be very inquisitive, one should be very serious to know these things. And this intense desire will only happen, or this desire will only happen when we are constantly exposed to pure devotees, the moods of pure devotees. We are constantly were exposed. So that's very powerful, very powerful. So the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have that power, have that intense power to actually give us that laulyam. So um, the more and more we can hear the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, the more and more we can pray to Lord Chaitanya. Because Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are, they have specially come in this age of Kali to give this thing. I'll just narrate this morning. I was just seeing one video that one Srila Prabhupada disciple asked Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, how can I get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya? And Prabhupada just lifted his hand and Prabhupada said, very, I don't want to imitate, but very loudly and very confidently, Prabhupada said, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So actually, Haribhashan Prabhu, when he came here, he also quoted from Sanatana Goswami that in the state of Ananta Nivritti, to destroy offenses to the holy name, the best process is Nam Sankirtan. The best process is Nam Sankirtan. So Sankirtan, dancing, chanting, participating, actually intelligence means to know what process works at what point. So that is very important. According to one's current situation in bhakti, what should one do to make progress? That is very important. That is very important. Like if someone imitates someone in a higher platform of advancement, then that won't work. So that's why we need guidance. We need to hear constantly from our authorities, and we need to read Srila Prabhupada books to understand how we can take best advantage of the current situation so we can make quick advancement. We can make quick advancement, and we need to see what activities we should do and what activities we should not do so that we can maintain our enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness. So this is very, very important. That's why Lord Brahma says that if one simply stays in one's position and performs one's activity, which means our own service, and hears from the mouth of realized soul, then one can conquer Krishna. And the best example, of course, Prabhupada narrates so many times that mm, Brahmana, South Indian Brahmana, that he did was illiterate. He didn't know how to read Bhagavad Gita, but simply because he followed the order of his guru, he attained the perfection. And what is the perfection? He got he attained bhav, he attained um, feeling for Krishna, mm, and ultimately that feeling was authorized by Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya appreciated that sentiment that wow, actually you have understood Bhagavad Gita. So if that, of course, I don't want to add my own speculation, but if someone in that situation may have thought that I'm illiterate, what's the point of reading? Or what will I understand? Will this ever work? Then, you know, but that Brahmana, he put faith in his guru. He put full faith in his guru. And because he followed the instruction of his guru, tried to follow, so he attained the mercy. You attain the mercy. And whoever Lord Chaitanya is pleased with, whoever Lord Chaitanya glances, attains prem, attains love of Godhead. So that is the power of Guru Parampara. This is as time goes, as the process, time goes in the process, we all realize that ultimately this instructions of Srila Prabhupada, to the extent that we can take those instructions of spiritual master deeper and deeper into the heart, to that extent we can receive mercy, can receive mercy. And mercy is the only solution. Unless we are convinced that mercy is the only solution, we cannot cry, we cannot pray, because we'll think that no, no, I'll do this sadhana, no, no, I will do this, I will achieve. But when we realize, and I realize that mercy is the only hope, then only you can actually develop Trinadapi Sunichena. You can tolerate, you can become humble, you can as only try to glorify others. Because this nature to be intolerant, nature to be proud, nature to want one's glory, that's natural. For a conditioned soul like myself, it's very natural in this world. Because I came to this world because of my envy towards Krishna. So to go against that, it requires a special determination. It requires special mercy. So when we realize that we need special mercy to make it, special mercy to make progress in bhakti, then only we can become humble, we can become prayerful, and we can tolerate. We can tolerate. So this process is very, very hopeful. It's very wonderful because uh, pure devotees, headed by Srila Prabhupada, has guaranteed success in this process. So the only thing which is required is to follow their instruction, follow their mood, beg for their mercy, and following the footsteps of Prabhupada disciples, it will definitely happen. It will definitely happen because anything that Prabhupada and pure devotees say cannot be wrong, cannot go wrong. It's impossible. So we have seen so many examples in the current time, like Nayan Mataji. So it's impossible in that condition to remember Krishna unless we have causeless mercy. So if it's possible for certain souls to attain it, then it is also possible for everyone else, provided that they have that intense desire and provided they demonstrate that intense desire through their activities. So this is a very wonderful verse speaking about the beginning of good fortune for a living entity. So the beginning of good fortune is actually when sadhu becomes compassionate. And another nature of sadhu also is like a mother and father, right? So when a child behaves nicely, mother and father immediately think that how can I give the best thing to my child? That's the thought process of any mother and father in this world. What to speak of the supreme mother and father? What to speak of Supreme Father Krishna, and what to speak of Krishna's pure devotees who are more merciful than Krishna. How much more eager they must be to give us the highest thing. If they don't have, and what is the best proof of this? Like Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Nectar of Instruction, the devotees who are translating, they told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this is very high, this Radha Kund, all these things. So maybe we should distribute only to the devotees. Prabhupada said, no, distribute to the public. So this shows that how much pure devotees, they are very eager to give the highest benediction. They are very eager. So that is the power of their compassion. When they become compassionate means that they will immediately pray for that soul, that let this soul go back to God and let this soul attain love of God. So that is the power of a pure devotee. So, so I wanted to speak today, that we are also very fortunate. We are in the lineage of Narad Muni, so we can pray to Narad Muni that we can get this laulyam, we can get this intense greed in our spiritual life, so that our activities can actually give pleasure to Krishna. Because when we have this laulyam, then Krishna understands that we don't want anything from him. Even though Krishna may give name, fame, position, Krishna understands that we don't want. We want him. We want to serve him. And we want to give him pleasure. We want to give him pleasure. We want to give Radharani pleasure. We want to give Lord Chaitanya pleasure. So that's very attractive to Krishna. And that creates a very attractive atmosphere in the society of devotees also. Anyone has any question or comment? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I have no qualification or realization. Please forgive me if I spoke anything inappropriate. Anyone has any question or comment? Online, anyone has any question or comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you. Very instructive, very deep. I hope I can apply some of it. Thank you, Prabhu.
Any things? Okay, we'll end here. Vanchakalpa tarupasya kripasya bhagavata. Patitanam pavanam Vaishnava Vrinda Srila Prabhupada.